see, I agree with you, but it doesn't seem like society agrees with you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to transition a little bit to the topic of climate change. So what you just said a little bit about these jobs aren't going to be offered to you. In a progressive society, you're absolutely right that some of these jobs might be taken over by like robots or machines and stuff like that. But it seems like Mr. Trump wants to not focus on climate change and bring back jobs that have to do with coal and jobs that should be like extinct. Like,
I will say that should not happen, especially with the rate of how hot Earth is.
Yeah,
radiating.
exactly.
yes,
You know, like,
that's what's scary.
people will not follow history.
No.
Well, and that's what blows my mind is like people that are still like climate change is a hoax and all
Yeah.
this stuff. I'm like, no, like there's science, man. Like,
real.
No, it's fake news, Alex.
well, and like you take like, the Paris Accord.
Yeah,
it's-
we're going to talk
you got-
about that.
You got 195 countries that came together and said, "Hey, look, there's an issue. We need to do better."
Let me quote an article actually. What you just said. Trump pulls out of the Paris Climate Accords. Something 90% of the world agrees with. Yeah. Even North Korea agrees with it, and Israel and Palestine. The two countries that hate each other agree with this on this subject. It's like the biggest climate agreement of all time, and the United States is 100. There's 195 countries agree with this, and only two other countries don't. And I forgot who they were, but now we're the third country that's not agreeing with this.
Well,
I think one of them was Saudi Arabia, actually. I don't remember the other one.
You know, what really got me more focused on, you know, as kids they teach how to recycle so much more. You know about Earth and everything and stuff like that, but you know about it, but you're not really prone to really know the full extent of it until you actually in an environment that teaches you more about it, where you're more aware of it, where you're not just like, oh, somebody did pick up the trash.
Not my problem.
Yeah, not my problem. Okay, so cruise ships, you know, you gotta take so many different safety procedure tests. I'm talking about through the maritime laws, every freaking thing in the world, you gotta take it. So they're showing about pollution and what's happening. I just
Ocean's getting bad.
Yo, yeah, real bad. There's like, you know how big the Great Barrier Reef is, right?
Yeah.
There is plastic. Wow. That's a floating piece of plastic, of all this plastic in the Pacific right now, that is making its way over to America, and it's washing up in California all the time.
Those poor sea creatures.
Yes.
That's crazy, man.
It's bigger than the Great Barrier Reef. You know what I'm saying? There's blooms of, you know, algae that's blooming up that's not supposed to be there because these animals that are supposed to be killing off the algae are dying because of this bloom of plastic. And if you guys didn't know, the Great Barrier Reef is extinct. It's not living. It's kaput, you know? So all these cool places that we, you know, could be seeing or dying off. And with acts like this, more tenacious things could.
Well, and that's one of the things they were saying about like Trump pulling out of the Paris Accords is because, again, America, with us being one of the biggest nations in the world, like we contribute so much to like
funding,
to that funding, but then we're also one of the highest pollution countries in the world.
Corporation.
And,
So true.
And like the thing that bothers me is like you look at the press conference that Trump did, and it's very like shallow political reasons why he doesn't want to do. Like I get it, he's trying to bring jobs and stuff back to America.
Yeah, he's like, you know, he pretty much. I think his quote was, I'm not responsible for Paris. I'm responsible for Pittsburgh."
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And I get where he's coming from on that. Like you got to, because we've talked about this before. Like you got to take care of your house before you take care of everybody else's. But at the same time, like. Again, you got 195 countries that said, hey, look, this is a problem. We want to work together to make this better.
Back to what you just said, not to cut you off.
No, you good, bro.
Can you repeat what you just said?
About taking care of your home before you take care of other people's?
This is our home.
That's fair.
Good job. This is all right. This is our home.
Just because us we, live on this.
Mm-hmm.
We all share this planet.
Exactly.
Not just us. We share this planet with these sea creatures, with these land animals, and everything else.
Yeah.
Why the hell are human beings making the shots? We fucking up.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Honestly,
we got to get this mentality of, like, especially Americans, that we're superior to the world. And we got to just focus on our stuff. Because at the end of the day, like, it's actually one of the most selfish things to do is to not make sure the people behind us after we go are okay. Because my son's going to be here, God willing, after I am. He's going to have children, and they're going to have children. My DNA is going to live on.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I don't know who they are going to be, but I want to make sure they are okay.
Yep.
And that's so selfish of, like, us as a society to not think about the future.
Yep.
But, it's all about us right now.
that's the thing, is what irritates me so much is people think about right now and they don't think like 20 to 50 to 100 steps ahead. With me, I'm always thinking about the next step. If you don't think about the next step, you know what I'm saying, what the hell are you going to be doing?
Exactly. Well, and going back to that again, like, are there areas I think that we need to take care of America first? Yes, but we're talking about the planet that we live on. If 195 countries saying, hey, this is a problem, isn't a big wake-up call, like, I don't know how people can say, like, no, we don't need to do this.
Yeah, I honestly think there shouldn't be, like, just an American thing. It should be a human thing.
Exactly.
Because
like you said, like, climate control is not an American or, like, a French or a European thing. Like, climate control is a human thing. Like,
us.
Yeah, it's our planet. And so,
this is our home.
Yeah.
And you made me think, actually, do you guys ever watch Futurama, the old show? So they don't have a United States of America on that show. It's in the way future. They call it United States of the Earth or something like that. And because they socialize with other planets. But I always thought that was interesting, that because they all just, they look at each other as the human race. That's it on that show. I really wish we would follow that. Because people might disagree with it, but I don't believe in borders. Because we are human. We're just human beings. We should all just live as humans. And no matter what our race is and gender and stuff like that, we should learn to talk more. But, society and family tells us, oh, the Mexicans are ruining the country. Oh, they want to kill us over there in the Middle East. Whitey hates you, or Blackie's going to rob you, and stuff like that.
It should be aware that all of human beings come together.
Of course.
And stop. It shouldn't be a fucking war. War is just inevitable. It's just a money-making machine. It's stupid. Yeah. It's definitely stupid. If your leader has a problem with this leader, I think those two should box.
Yeah. What's up, cuz? Kim Jong-un and Trump would be the most funny fight in the world.
You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck should this guy, this 18-year-old kid or however old this person is, be trained to just kill and go over and do this man's dirty work while he's here like this?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not cool. Back in the day, if a king were to go and fight with his homies, he was right there with him on the front line like this. Like, y'all ready? Alright, I'm gonna go get him. And y'all go do what you're supposed to do. It shouldn't be, well, we winning? Alright, drop the mother of bombs right now. On 36 people. Oh my gosh, man. This is ridiculous, man. It's crazy.
I really hope, I don't know, I hope somebody talks some sense into to the Trump administration. We can disagree all day about other shit, but this is devastating to the planet for the future.
Well, and what's cool about that is, like, Trump made that press conference yesterday announcing that, like, we're leaving the Accords as a country. Which, even, like, just a side note, like, we can't even do that until, like, 2020.
Right.
So, like, they were talking about how even if Trump says, hey, we're leaving the Accords, that's still going to be the 2020 election. That's going to be a huge thing.
Oh, okay. So you're saying, like, if he doesn't get reelected and somebody else does, we can still be in there?
So, yeah, like, let's say, like you said, he doesn't get reelected and somebody else does, they can come in and say, hey, no, we're
still
good.
Back in there.
Because I forget exactly, like, I'll have to look into the fine print and all of that, but they were saying, like, we leave the Accords until November 4th of 2020, which is the day after the next election.
Okay.
But even, like,
I'm glad you said that. I didn't know that. Okay.
Even that aside, like, it's cool to see, like, the mayor of Atlanta came out and said, hey, look, the country can leave the Accords all they want, but we as a city are still going to push for climate change and still push to like lower our carbon footprint and all of that.
Okay.
And so it's cool to see states doing that.
So just in case it still goes wrong with us leaving, I might have to invest in a city maybe that is
Absolutely.
with it because
you can look on like Twitter and all these kinds of things, like people just rallying behind this mindset that said Trump can say we're leaving the Accords all we want, but we as individuals, we as cities, we as states, we're still going to hold true to what the Accords say because we realize like this is a problem. Like
it's been a problem for years.
Absolutely. And I love that you brought up the situation going on in the ocean. Like a lot of people, they take that for granted as well. I mean, they see what's right here, but when you go in there further,
well, it's like you said. There's a natural order to things, and when we start messing that up, like you said with the algae, like there's predators that are supposed to take out the algae, and without them there, now you got overpopulation of this type of thing, which is going to mess up with this type of thing, and like you see how it all gets out of whack.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this, but 2011 there was a nuclear plant in Japan. Something that happened. I guess. Tidal wave that came through.
Yep. That's when the tsunami hit.
Yeah, I remember that.
And smashed, and the nuclear reactor started to leak.
Yep.
Okay, there's like small problem. We'll fix it.
Yeah.
They never fixed it.
Never fixed it, huh?
So I'm not sure how you guys know how big the ocean is. The planet is just
makes that what 60 or 70%.
It's like 70%.
Yeah, 70% of the
75%.
Yeah.
So it's we kind of need to take that serious.
Okay, let's go back to here.
This thing's mostly blue.
Yeah, all that water. Here's Japan. Here's America. So for all my America people,
yeah,
this affects you. This affects everyone. It's leaking, and it was right there. Now it's.
And you're talking 6 years worth of that dispersion
that's just
through.
You know what I'm saying?
And by the way, where was the recent oil spill at? The one that happened in like 2009 or 10. Was that on the other side or
the recent?
Are you talking about the one that happened
in
in
the
Gulf?
Gulf of Mexico? That's
yeah,
right. Okay.
That's the one off Louisiana.
That
the
was,
BP spill.
The BP oil spill.
Yeah. That went everywhere, man.
That went everywhere.
And there's right now they're not even talking about it. It's not even trending. Trump is trending. Kathy is trending. This should be trending. There is another oil leak that has not even been addressed or fixed. Still leaking.
Right Never knew about that.
Well, and that's like the BP oil spill. Like that leaked for weeks, like hundreds of gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico. And like obviously at the time it was a big deal, but now you're talking 7 years later. Like
wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. There's a bunch.